It's good to be here in Juba, and I have spent now almost 3 days here, and I have been received well as the Norwegian Special Envoy for South Sudan and Sudan. I have conducted meetings with a range of representatives from the South Sudanese society, and I have engaged with the authorities in South Sudan. We've had fruitful meetings, all of them I would say, and it's been good to have an exchange with you, the South Sudanese, about the challenges facing this country. As Norway, we have had a long-standing relationship with you, and we have supported the people of South Sudan in their struggle for a better government and for basic rights. It's been good to talk with the different actors in Sudan. And in the meetings with the authorities, we have from our side stressed the worries we have for this country, the suffering of the people, the humanitarian challenges, the high level of violence. It's very good to note that in the meetings with the South Sudanese government, the will to fulfill the peace agreement has been stressed. We are moving closer to elections, and we have got assurances that there is no lack of political will in order to get to elections. According to the peace agreement, the civic and political space should be opened in order to conduct elections. Conditions for elections are extremely important, and we will follow that closely from the Norwegian side, from the side of the Troika, and the international community as such. It's difficult and challenging times in this region, and this affects South Sudan. It's every reason to commend South Sudan for keeping the borders open for refugees coming from Sudan. When it comes to elections, it's very much about political will and about establishing the institutions. Institutions needed for running the elections. That includes the National Election Commission and the political parties committee. There are also other key institutions. The meetings with the president and the vice president was uplifting, and they still committed strongly to the peace agreement. When I'm here, I have to believe what people tell me, but it is a worry that these are not in place yet, and the implementation of the peace agreement is lagging behind. For the time being, the conditions for holding the elections are not in place. So a lot of things has to be done, and political decisions has to be made and implemented. And I've been assured during the meetings that this will happen. But it still remains to be seen. Well, there's several risks relating to elections. It's extremely important, as already stated, to have a conducive environment. To open up the political and civic space is a clear precondition. And of course, it's a matter of exactly how the elections are conducted. It's a matter of the people being able to vote for the leaders they want in this country. And there's of course a matter of how this is organized when it comes to security. There is a risk of increased violence, and we should not underestimate that. And that this has been an important theme during the discussions. It's important to establish frames for conducting the elections that do not lead to violence. Elections is competition between different parties. It's extremely important that South Sudan solves its disagreements and its conflict of interests in a peaceful manner. The history of this country has told us that it's easy to resort to violence. It should be avoided by all means.
Okay, I just also wanted to add to the Special Envoy's comments. We are very, very focused on the security also that goes along with an open civic space. Open political and civic space must be supported by security, that people feel safe to say what they need to say, what they feel is right to say for the betterment of this country. For everyone to be aiming for a discussion on real issues on how to better take the steps forward in a manner of the goal of a safe and sound place for every South Sudanese. So the security goes along with open and political space. So just wanted to underline that is extremely important in this country as well as in every other country who's getting ready for a democratic election.
The developments in Sudan are extremely worrisome. And as the war rages on, it will impact all the neighbors of Sudan, and South Sudan being one of the countries most heavily impacted. Maybe the one that is sort of in many respects closest to Sudan. So the way it has been handled so far is in general good, but of course if the flow of refugees continues, and I'm afraid there's a huge potential, it will impact a lot of things in South Sudan, and South Sudan already has a lot of challenges. This is it affects the economy, it would affect the security, and every aspect of South Sudanese society. And in addition to that, there's a lot of conflicts in the world and in this region, and we are working for keeping up the international attention and the international support for South Sudan, but it's not easy when the war is raging in a neighboring country such as Sudan, and it's also a tough time for the world in terms of conflict and humanitarian crisis, and that's a question we've brought on through the discussions we've had. We need to see some true progress in South Sudan in order to uphold our commitment. But I would like to add, we've been here for a long time, and it's the South Sudanese population we are supporting.